The galaxy had seen many gladiators. Some fought for honor. Some fought for freedom. Most fought because they had no choice. But never before had the Zithron arenas seen someone like her, a child of a death world. Earth, they called it, a cursed planet on the edge of the mapped stars. Its gravity was considered oppressive. Its air toxic to most species. Its fauna vicious beyond reason. Only creatures forged from endless struggle could survive there. And from that pit of evolutionary cruelty, a girl had been stolen. She was 15 when they dragged her into the slave pens of the Zithron Coliseum. Thin, starved, eyes burning with a feral hunger. She had no training in the alien weapons thrust into her hands. None of it mattered. The Zithrons had expected a quick spectacle. A frail, hairless ape child thrown to the sand for crowds' amusement. They expected her to scream, to beg, to die. Instead, she killed. Hour 1, 8 dead. The first match was meant to be a warm-up. 3 reptilian Thrask, veterans of the pit, were released with vibro spears. The girl crouched low, unarmed, then moved like lightning. She didn't strike with grace, but with raw, brutal instinct. She bit. She clawed. She stole a spear from the first corpse and used it with terrifying efficiency. When the dust settled, the crowd fell silent before erupting in thunderous roars. 5 more combatants were thrown in immediately. The arena masters were certain it was luck, a trick of adrenaline. But she carved through them just as savagely, wielding a broken spear shaft like a predator wielding fangs. By the time she stood over the 8th body, blood running down her face, chest heaving, the Zithron announcer was shaking. This is no ordinary primate. The audience had already given her a name, the Death Worlder. Hour 2, fear. The second hour should have been simple. 10 more slaves, armed with shock blades and chain nets, were sent in to finish her, but they hesitated. The girl did not. She lunged, shattering one's jaw with the butt of her weapon. The others faltered, unsure whether to attack or retreat. The crowd was not cheering now. They were whispering. The way she moved. It wasn't a fighter's art. It was an animal certainty. She did not fight for glory. She fought to survive. And on a death world, survival meant killing everything that threatened you. The 10th combatant dropped his weapon and fled. The audience booed, but no one laughed. When the Zithron guards tried to drag her back to cages, 3 refused to enter. One muttered, "She's staring at us like prey." Another said, "Not prey, predator." The overseer bellowed orders, but even his voice cracked. The girl's eyes followed them, unblinking. Every movement of the guards was calculated, as though one wrong step might trigger her attack. By the end of the second hour, the arena floor was empty, not because she had killed everyone, but because no one dared step inside. The days that followed, the girl became a legend overnight. Her face was projected on every holo screen across the Zithron Empire. That skyrocketed. Slave traders scrambled to find more humans, but there were none. She was unique, a singular terror. And with each fight, she grew deadlier. Not because she learned their weapons, but because she adapted. That was what Deathworlders did. They learned faster than anyone else. Every encounter carved into instinct. A week later, she faced the infamous Krog Beast, a genetically enhanced monster that had devoured 20 fighters in one match. She killed it in under 6 minutes, blinding it with sand before driving a broken sword through its skull. The audience didn't cheer. They sat in stunned silence, some clutching their seats, others whispering prayers. The girl stood alone in the center, drenched in blood, her chest rising and falling like a hunting wolf. The human factor. One among the audience was not Zithron. Captain Elias Varick, a smuggler from Earth, had been caught running contraband through Zithron space. His punishment, servitude as an arena technician. He had heard the whispers of a human girl fighting in the pits, but he hadn't believed them until he saw her with his own eyes. The way she moved, the strength, the resilience. He recognized it instantly. "That's no gladiator," he whispered to himself. "That's just a kid." When he tried to approach her cage, guards blocked his way. "Do not get close. She bites." But Elias didn't listen. He waited until the guards retreated, then crouched near the bars. "You're from Earth," he said softly. The girl's eyes snapped to his. Her body coiled, ready to strike, but his words froze her. "You're not alone." For the first time, her expression changed. Not anger, not hunger. Something softer, buried beneath the scars of survival. Hope, the breaking point. By the second month, the girl had slaughtered over 100 opponents. The arenas were overflowing with demand, but something strange was happening. No one wanted to fight her. Slaves refused, even under threat of execution. Trained beasts cowered. Guards muttered superstitions, calling her the Reaper Sand. The Zitharon masters tried drugging her, starving her, breaking her spirit. None of it worked. If anything, it made her stronger. She fought harder, faster, more viciously than before. Finally, the High Overseer made a decision. Released a Titan-class predator, a creature bred solely to erase rebellions. It was 3 times her size, armor with scales harder than steel. The arena was silent when the gates opened. The girl did not hesitate. She charged, weaponless. The predator roared and lunged. The crowd gasped, then screamed as the girl slid beneath its strike, tore a blade from its handler's corpse, and drove it into the beast's throat. When the monster collapsed, she climbed atop its body, lifted her weapon, and howled. The Zitharons had wanted a spectacle. Instead, they had unleashed a nightmare. The refusal. That night, Elias found her cage unguarded, not because the guards had abandoned their posts, but because they refused to go near her anymore. "They're afraid of you," he whispered through the bars. "Do you understand? Even the masters don't know what to do with you now." The girl tilted her head, studying him. "We can get out," he said. "You and me, back to Earth." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, slowly, she reached her blood-stained hand through the bars. Elias clasped it. It was the first time she had willingly touched another person since she was stolen. To escape, the Zitharons thought her cage unbreakable. They hadn't considered she would bend the bars with her bare hands. When the alarm sounded, guards rushed in, but none dared enter her path. Those who tried were cut down mercilessly. Elias followed close behind, guiding her through the labyrinth of tunnels toward the hangar. The final stand came at the docking bay. A dozen guards blocked their path, weapons trembling in their hands. The girl stepped forward, ready to tear through them. But Elias raised a hand. "Wait! Look at them." The guards weren't attacking. They were backing away, their eyes wide with fear. One dropped his weapon. Another fell to his knees. The girl blinked, realization dawning. She didn't have to kill them. She only had to be herself. By the time they reached Elias's ship, the way was clear, not because they fought their way through, but because no one dared stop them. Epilogue. When the engines roared to life and the stars stretched into streaks of light, Elias glanced back at the girl. She sat in silence, staring at the void. "You're safe now," he said. "No more arenas. No more fighting." The girl didn't answer. She only leaned back, closing her eyes for the first time in months. And across the galaxy, the legend spread, not of a gladiator, not of a slave, but of the Death Worlder girl, who killed 8 in the first hour, who broke the will of her captors in the second, and who walked free not because of mercy, but because fear itself opened the doors.